Oh, look, we're live. You've got a host. Once again, I have returned. You must forgive me. I've supplied myself with a nutritional shake that I often have to debate that that this is like a meal supplement. And really, I don't debate it at all. I don't care what it is. I just enjoy it. And I feel like it's got all these nice, wonderful nutrients that my body needs because I am a picky eater. I've also supplied myself with this fine morning, night, day, evening, afternoon with some Cumberland Gap water. All right. So, in case you didn't know and you needed a reminder, let's head on over here and I'm going to let you know that I am CB Smallwood, the host of Sketching Past Midnight Live, the place where we talk about all things comics, sci-fi, horror, fantasy, pop culture, and everything in between. And and again, I apologize for being a little bit late. I had to get situated, but you know, what can you do? And I just want to say good morning, good evening, and good night to wherever you may be. And let's go ahead and get the show started. Now, I just want to remind everybody that the Wildcat Anthology comic is still a thing. It's still going. I extended the campaign another 30 days. So what does that mean? Well, basically, the first 30 days came and went. And you have an option on Indiegogo to extend the campaign another 30 days. But you can only do this once. And we've currently raised, I think, about $800 so far. And so we got a $1,500 go. So what is that? 900,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So unless my mathematics is incorrect, we got about $700 more to go till we get to where we need to go. Man, that's one scraggly looking mustachio. Of course, this thing's always ugly looking. Ugly looking man I am. All right, so I want to hit you with a refresher about the Wildcat Indiegogo. So watch this video. And also, before I play this video, turn your volume down a little bit because I like my metal loud. You've been warned. Turn it down just a tad. And then when you come back to the show, let's turn it back up, okay? All right. I love that. That's pretty cool. So we do have a couple of news headlines today. Actually, quite a few news items of weird news and things that go bump in the night. So if you give me just a second, we'll cue that up. All right. All right. It looks like I clicked all the right buttons. We've got it going good. So, finally, the Lochness monster comes out of hiding. Well, not quite. There's been a bit of dry spell when it comes to cryptids, including Bigfoot and Loch Ness monster and all your usual things that creep around at the nighttime. And today's article is brought to you by The Telegraph. The Telegraph, where all the great stories are written. And this was written by Sarah Napton. So the existence of Loch Ness monster is plausible after a fossil discovery. River system dig in modern day Morocco offers controversial new perspective on how marine reptiles and aquatic dinosaurs coexisted. And see, we got a picture of a plesiosaur on the right, which is long believed to be the top suspect for a few decades for the Loch Ness monster, and what looks like Spinosaurus or something like it. No, it's not a Spinosaurus. I don't know what the heck that is. It doesn't matter. Oh no! You mean I have to read the rest of this thing? Can I start a free trial? Can I do that now? This is a bunch of bull. That's what I get for not coming prepared. No, I don't want to do all that. Oh, it cut it away again. So anyway, basically, I have actually read this article somewhere else on the interwebs, and pretty much the whole shtick of it was they had found fragments, bones of a plesiosaur in what was a prehistoric river system, maybe, or a lake, like a freshwater lake. So it showed that these animals, these plesiosaurs, were found both in fresh and salt water. So why that's important? Well, first of all, I've had this theory for a while that if the Loch Ness monster and Ogopogo and other such creatures exist, and the reason that we don't find them in the lakes that they're said to inhabit, if they are real creatures, I would imagine that they would use the lake systems as breeding grounds where they would lay their eggs, or where they go for mating or something. And then when they do whatever it is that they're doing, and they get done doing that said thing, that they would go to the ocean. They return back to the ocean where they're at 90% of the time. And a plesiosaur is a long neck animal, and I would imagine that they go into the deep ocean where the dirt and stuff's at, and they look for the type of fish that would hide in that dirt. So their long necks would allow them to burrow down and find their prey. So that's one theory that I've always had. And the fact that Loch Ness has caves in it. Now, do I actually believe that the Loch Ness monster is real? I'm leaning toward no. I think Ogopogo has a little bit more going for it than the Loch Ness monster, and there's a lot of reasons why there is for that. But I just think that this was interesting. I'm very sorry that I didn't have. This is a bad start for the night. Showed up late to my own show, and this freaking article is not all the way here. But what can you do? All right, so I did promise that I had more weird news. Let's queue up a few other things here if I can find them, and hopefully these will be full articles. There's no guarantee on anything. I think I'll start with the scary one. Bum, bum, bum. All right, you see that? This is from the AP News, and it's written by Yuri Kejiyama. Japanese city alarmed by biting, clawing, attacking monkeys. Just look at this. Let me see if I can enlarge this for you. Oh, it's shrinking. I don't like that. Look at that monkey. Oh, man. That's crazy. The image from a video shows a monkey loitering around a home in Yamaguchi, Japan, Saturday, July 23rd of 2022. People in southwestern Japanese city have come under attack from monkeys that are trying to snatch babies, biting and clawing at flesh, and sneaking into nursery schools. F these monkeys. They gotta die. The attacks on 58 people since July 8th, what is going on here, are getting so bad that Yamaguchi City Hall hired a special unit to hunt the animals with tranquilizer guns. The monkeys aren't interested in food, so traps haven't worked. They have targeted mostly children and the elderly. Oh my gosh. This is straight up horror movie. They are so smart, and they tend to sneak up and attack from behind, often grabbing at your legs, city official Masato Saito said Wednesday. When confronted by a monkey, the instructions are: do not look them in the eye, make yourself look as big as possible, such as spreading open your coat, and then back away as quietly as possible without making sudden moves, according to Saito. A woman was assaulted by a monkey while hanging laundry on her veranda. Another victim showed bandaged toes. They were taken aback and frightened by how big and fat the monkeys were. So these are fat, rapid monkeys, apparently. Monkeys terrorizing the community are Japanese macaque? I don't know. The kind often pictured peacefully bathing in hot springs. One male monkey measuring 49 centimeters, that's 1.6 foot, in height and weighing 7 kilograms, which is 15 pounds. I really appreciate them translating this to American in terms of feet and pounds. Was caught Tuesday by the team with a tranquilizer gun. It was judged by various evidence to be one of the attacking monkeys and put to death. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Put these things to death. But more attacks were reported after the capture. Oh, so these monkeys are upset that we annihilated their leader. And so this is what this is: revenge attacks on the part of the monkeys. I think I should have led with this story. Still, the Lochness monster one. This is chilling. No one has been seriously injured so far, so they claim, but all have been advised to get hospital treatment. Ambulances were called in some cases. Although Japan is industrialized and urban, a fair portion of the land in the archipelago is mountainous and forest. Rare attacks on people by bear, boars, and other wildlife have occurred, but generally not by monkeys. No one seems to know why the attacks have occurred and what exactly the troop of monkeys came from. I can't even talk anymore. Remains unclear. I have never seen anything like this my entire life, Saito said. So that is that for that article. In Japan. Beware, there are crazed monkeys out there, and they're going to go after your infant. So kill those little boogers. Kill them dead. Also, I have one other story, probably the lesser of the three, but I think it's interesting. I wished I had the video ready to show you, because I have seen the video of this, but I just think it's so interesting and traumatic. You know, it's terrible. This is actually a terrible, terrible story. Again, this is from the AP News. Israeli couple arrested after a man dies in a pool sinkhole. See, I didn't know that they got arrested. I was on Twitter like several days ago, and there was this video that made the rounds, and basically there was this pool party. There was people on top of the pool, and there was people in the pool, and all of a sudden the water started draining quickly, like water does in a bathtub. And you saw this one man almost slip and fall into the hole, but he quickly got his footing, and Everybody was just looking down into the hole that was in the pool, and people were just kind of standing around, and all these floats, all these inflatables just went into the sinkhole that had formed in the pool. So let's take a look at this picture, okay? And you know, right here, I don't know if you can see my mouse or not. I'm sorry about the caption down below, but you see that pink flamingo? That's where the sinkhole's at, and that's where all these, there was like 5 or 6 floats that went completely into the sinkhole. The caption on this photo reads, in this photo provided by the Israeli Fire and Rescue Services, Israeli firemen. Oh, let me mention one more thing. This is important, okay? So far, I told you some of the stuff that went in the hole. Well, apparently a grown man, when the sinkhole formed, went into the hole and disappeared. He's gone. He's dead, deceased. He is no more. And the other odd thing in the video, which is not in this AP article that I saw on Twitter, you didn't see him go into the sinkhole. They only started recording the incident after the fact. But I thought it was just amazing how nonchalant everybody's just kind of lounging around and just treating it like another day. You know, nobody's like shouting, you know, call 911 or call the police, and it's like there's a guy that's freaking in the hole. He may still be alive. I don't know. And I just think it's interesting. There was such a lack of panic on their faces. But anyway, let's continue. In this photo provided by the Israeli Fire and Rescue Services, Israeli firemen and rescue workers in a sinkhole formed in a swimming pool in Karami Yosef, Israel, Thursday, July 21st of 2022. Israeli police say they placed the couple under house arrest the day after a man attending a party at the villa died after being sucked into the sinkhole that formed at the bottom of their swimming pool. The incident happened during a private party the couple hosted at their house in the town of Karmi Yosef, which is 40 kilometers, 25 miles for us Americans, southeast of Tel Aviv. Got another picture here. There's a different angle at the sinkhole. Okay, pretty much the same caption on this. Israeli police said Friday they had placed the couple under house arrest. Okay, I reread all that. The man and woman, both in their 60s, are suspected of causing death by negligence. Police said they were arrested on Thursday night, and a court decided to release them Friday under restrictive conditions of house arrest for 5 days. It's repeating a bunch of stuff we already read. Mobile phone video from the scene shows floaties and water being sucked down to the bottom, which is what I watched. At the center of the pool, as people sitting by the poolside shout in Hebrew, a man is seen approaching. Well, I didn't see no shouting. Everybody looked pretty quiet and calm to me. I don't know what their deal was. A man is seen approaching the sinkhole, slips, and almost pulled in before he backs away, which is what I saw. Police said that the deceased 30-year-old man was found following a search mission in which Israeli police, emergency crews, and the army took part. Israeli media cited witnesses as saying the party was attended by nearly 50 people, of whom 6 were in the pool. Also reported that the homeowner had built the pool without proper licensing. I don't know. I mean, it seems like a freak accident, but then again, I don't know. You know, it's one of these things. I mean, like, it just goes to show you that this crazy world, anything could happen at any time. You know, you just never know. You know, you really, really never know. But I thought that was a interesting story, interesting stories. And I just wanted to share that with you all. And let's be professional here and end our news cap for the evening. So, What else have I got for you? Got all kinds of tricks up my sleeve. Well, I figured we'd take a trip down memory lane. You know, I'm a child of the '90s. Well, I experienced a good part of the '80s, but I started becoming sentient, aware of my surroundings more so in the '90s, and that was about the time I was becoming a teenager and that sort of thing. And all kinds of cool stuff in the '90s. And one of the cool things in the '90s was Wizard magazine. It was just it was a cool thing, you know. And if you missed out on it, it's a shame. And you can find a couple of these to read on the Internet Archive, which I love. Internet Archive, it's wonderful. And I figured we'd go over it just a little bit, and then maybe me gabbing and talking one time I'm sketching just a little bit later. All right. So hopefully you all can see that fairly good. This is I don't know what issue of Wizard this is. I think it is number 54. Came out in February of 1996, and the headline reads Marvel DC crossover special report. And you know, just flipping, you know, this is a double. At one point, Wizard was doing these fold out covers. So we got this, looks like Bart Sears art, I'm willing to wager. And then we see all these Marvel and DC heroes. It looks awesome. This is really awesome. And then we also get treated to another fold out once you open the Wizard magazine itself. We get the Fire from Heaven storyline from Wildstorm, and then we got all these Wildstorm characters in what looks like a it's like a mix match. You know, we see Gen 13 here with J. Scott Campbell art. You know, we see art of the Wildcats from Travis Charest. Some Stormwatch by looks like, you know, I see some stuff. It looks like Scott Clark art here. We've got some Jim Lee art here. We've also got some Wallace Portacio art. And this one guy that was an amazing artist, and I can't think of his name or the name of the book that he drew. Is they only did so many issues of it because he died in the middle of making them, I think. This girl on the right is standing up. It's got the Lady Frankenstein haircut. You know, that's pretty much, you know, his creation, I think. I'm not really for sure. But, you know, I just love the layout of this magazine, how it looks. I mean, look at all this cool stuff. And it's also got something that comes from the time of Peter Palmiotti. So I'll get to that in a minute. You know, so much great stuff in this magazine. Dusk Till Dawn, a really good movie. And, you know, I read every single thing in Wizard magazine. I would read what Gareb Shamus would write. You know, he's like the editor in chief, the owner. I would read the Magic Words, which was all the fan mail. Here's Contagion. I think this is about the time when DC was sort of running out of steam when it came to Batman. That they had did the whole storyline where Batman broke his back. I think it was called Nightfall, and then basically, you know, they did the whole bit where he has to rehabilitate himself and then take back, you know, his mantle as Batman and defeat Bane. But after that, you know, they did a bunch of other stuff, and it didn't. I don't think it really landed with readers. It doesn't mean it was bad, you know, but there's a lot of great stuff that was being put out in the '90s, and I think just, you know, You had to pick and choose sometimes, you know, you only had so much money. There's some Rob Liefeld art. Looks pretty rad to me. He had a big storyline going on. I can't remember what it was called. Extreme Destroyer. Oh, this is the chilling sequel to Extreme Sacrifice. Interesting. I like this. It looks awesome to me. Looks good. And oh, here we go. This is from the. I hope I'm not boring you all. Let me check. Let me make sure that you're not entertained. You are entertained. All right. In reference to some of the articles I read earlier, very nice, very nice. Wow. That's probably in reference to the killer monkeys. This is very interesting. Very interesting stories indeed. Abe writes Sabaneri, or however you spell it. That's it. You're absolutely right. Sabaneri. That is the book by this really great artist. And just give me a second. My peoples, and maybe I can pull up an example. Because you have to, we have to remember, some of us that experienced the 90s, not everybody get to do it. And to us, it was like yesterday, but then I realized how old I'm starting to get. And then it's like, well, you kind of have to remind or introduce people for the first time to this stuff. Jeff Rebner might have been the artist. I don't know. I don't think so. No, this ain't right. This ain't right. This ain't the stuff. Where is this at? I'm looking up right now the book, and if I can't find it within the next couple seconds, I'm going to move on and just keep talking about the wizard thing. No, I don't see it on here. I mean, I see a Cybernary series, but it's not done by that amazing artist. Well, you can pretty much Google it anyway, and probably be better off. But the Cybernary art was like it was really good stuff. You have to take my word on it. Hey, Brides, isn't the first cover the Aquaman artist that Peter worked with? The first cover. What, you mean the cover of the Wizard magazine, the main front? That had Lobo and Wolverine. I mean, I can pretty much tell that that's Bart Sears' art, unless I'm mistaken. I mean, it could be Andy Smith, but I know better than that, because I feel like Bart Sears' art has a little bit more twang to it. You might be referencing something else, though. I'm not sure. Cybernary by Nick Manabat. That's it. Yes. The world got robbed of a very, very awesome artist. It's a shame. But that stuff happens all the time, Ooh, I like this. Nellie Sings adding context. Manabat was discovered by Wallace Portasio in the Philippines. Very nice. All right, back to this article. Let's see if I can zoom in a little bit more. Oh, you guys like that? See how this shows up. Yeah, I think you can read that for the most part. Well, sort of. Could always be bigger. Worlds collide. Marvel and DC merged their universe into one. Ever wish Wolverine and Batman were the same guy, or Superman and Captain America? Or if the X-Men and Justice League combined into one team? Dare to dream, because it looks like it's going to happen. Marvel and DC Comics are merging their respective superhero universes into one in late February, and that was awesome, by the way. It's really cool. As familiar heroes and villains from both universes are combined to create all new ones. Based solely on written descriptions, it appears that a few character merges include Wolverine Batman character called Darkclaw, which was awesome. A Superman Captain America character called Super Soldier, which was decent. I mean, it still is pretty cool. I mean, if I went back and read it, a Spider-Man Superboy character called Spider-Boy, which was awesome. The event is so big that Marvel and DC are creating their own comic book line called Amalgam Comics, which was fantastic, where 12 one-shot issues will be published with new characters, and they will be the only superhero comics released by the two publishers that week. I didn't know that. 6 will be published by Marvel and 6 by DC, each carrying the Amalgam logo. Fans should have a blast trying to figure out who's who. You can make the call on what characters emerge by reading the quick rundown of the 12 one-shots. And I'm not going to read the synopsis, I guess that's what you call it, of each one of these. But they had Legend of Darkclaw, and that had Larry Hama writing it, and it had art by, I think, Jim Ballant, who was drawing Catwoman for like billions of years. He did like 40 issues or something of Catwoman, but did awesome on this. You know, it was, Wolverine and Batman mix. And then they had like, they had a character named Hyena or something, which was Joker and Sabretooth mixed. And, he was in the book, and can't remember. I feel like there was a Robin-like character, though I could be wrong. Super Soldier, I remember on the stands, I felt like it lacked a little bit of pizzazz, but if I read it right now, I probably think it's awesome. Amazon, that was a mix between Storm and Wonder Woman, I think. And that book was another one that didn't really catch my eye too much, JLX looked pretty good. Mix between the X-Men and the Justice League. I remember the art in it might have been Howard Porter or something like that. I can't remember. Maybe. Doctor Strange Fate looked decent, but it was, I felt like it didn't land with me. Now, then these are my personal opinions. I mean, you may have enjoyed all of these or hated them all, Spider-Boy looked great. It had Mike. How do you pronounce Mike's last name? Windigo, Waringo. I don't know. I get very dyslexic sometimes, but he was a great artist. He really made a name for himself once he started drawing Sensational Spider-Man, I think, when they launched that. And that may have came out after this, as a matter of fact. I can't remember. I remember around this time he did like a one-shot issue on the Avengers, which was my first introduction to him. I think he had worked at CrossGen maybe for a little bit. But anyway, he did the Spider-Boy story, and it was just so fun, and it was awesome. It's mixed between Superboy and Spider-Man. Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. actually looked kind of interesting, but it just when I flipped through it, it didn't really catch my fancy because, I don't know. Speed Demon looked awesome. That had art by, what's that guy's name? He was drawing Ghost Rider at the time, and he was really, he had big shoes to fill with Mark Textera or Mark Text, or however you pronounce his name. And he was doing pretty good. I remember those first couple issues of Ghost Rider that this guy drew were good, but he just kept getting better and better. And he started developing his own style in the later half of the book, as artists typically do. And this guy later would go on to work with Chris Claremont on Fantastic Four, and then he ended up on the X-Men. Maybe it's Salvador Larroca. I don't know. I can't pronounce his name. But this artist worked on Speed Demon. It was a mix between Flash and the Ghost Rider. It was awesome. And also maybe a mix between the Demon. DC's the Demon or whatever that guy's called. And he would like spit out rhymes and stuff, and it was really cool. Bullets and Bracelets was a good looking book, but it didn't really speak to me at the time. Now I'd probably really like it. I feel like that was kind of like Wonder Woman and some other character-ish type of thing, and these two girls tag teamed up and did whatever. I don't know. I can't remember. It's been forever. Oh, it says Rogue Amazon Princess Diana forges an uneasy alliance with the Punisher. Well, I was kind of off base a little bit. Whatever. Magneto and the Magnetic Man, that looked fantastic. Unless I'm mistaken, I felt like that had Jeff Matsuda art on it, and I don't know who wrote it, but that was really cool. It was a good-looking book. X Patrol, I love X Patrol. That was drawn by Roger Cruz. And all this stuff's from memory. I mean, this article doesn't tell me who draws what. This is just my memory. But the X Patrol was like a mix between three different things: X Force, Teen Titans, and Doom Patrol. Stuff's so cool. I love that stuff. You zoom out here. I'm sorry if you all got bored with that. So cool. So cool to flip through this stuff. I love it. You remember the 99-cent thing that Marvel had going on there for a while? Only 99 cents. Fantastic Four Unplugged, Avengers Unplugged, Over the Edge, Untold Tales of Spider-Man, Professor Xavier and the X-Men. They were 99-cent books. I remember these. I got a few of them. They were pretty cool. This was awesome. Ultra Forces on Fire. I got this book. First issue. Don't that look cool? Don't that look awesome? I got the toys down here. This is after Marvel bought the rights to Malibu Comics, and they were pretty much running the show. This is starting to get into the Peter Palmiotti stuff. Yeah, let me check the comments before I go any further. Comments. My mistake. It is Bart Sears. The logo kind of had the Jim Calafiore look. Oh, well, good timing, because this is Jim Calafiore, or how do you pronounce his last name? Isn't it odd that I can pronounce Japanese names fairly well, but when it's if it's like American or something somewhat exotic, I think I do well with Spanish names too. But like, I don't know, maybe California. What kind of name is that? But yeah, this right here that we're looking at, this is Jim's art. Book. Okay, I think I'm caught up. Let's take a look at this article. Now, before I read any of this, and I'll probably skim through it because I don't want to bore you half to death, but I just remember that at the time, this was an interesting time in comics. This is in 1996 is when this issue came out, February 96. Let me see how this looks on camera. Okay. And what had happened was sometime 1994 or 1995, I'm not for sure, Rob Liefeld and Jim Lee started talking with the new owner of Marvel Comics. And he noticed that the sales of everything that's not X-Men, which is like Fantastic Four, Avengers, Iron Man, Thor, you name it, Captain America. They just, I mean, they were making money, but they just wasn't making bank. You know, only the X-Men books were making serious money. And so he wanted to revitalize the books. And so this guy that came in from out of nowhere that took over Marvel Comics, he's like, okay, who used to make the big numbers? Who used to bring in the money? And it was the guys that formed Image Comics that used to work at Marvel. And so he reached out to some Image guys to get the ball rolling. And he reached out to Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld. He may have wanted other people. I think he kind of left it up to Jim and Rob to kind of recruit other people, maybe. He had wanted, and this is really interesting, okay? This guy at Marvel wanted Mark Silvestri, and Jim Lee said, if you get Mark Silvestri, I'm out. I won't be part of it. And this guy's like, okay, Mark Silvestri will not be part of it. And so imagine, you know, if Heroes Reborn had happened, and this is what I'm building up to, you know, we missed out on Mark Silvestri being part of Heroes Reborn. I mean, we could have saw, I mean, Rob Liefeld was going to do Captain America come hell or high water. So I don't think nobody would have took that from him. That left Jim Lee doing, I think he still would have done Fantastic Four, but the only other books that would probably be an option to Mark at that point would either be to do Avengers, which would have been awesome, or Iron Man. But then we would have, you know, there's no reason why he couldn't have done Thor. We could have got a Thor Mark Silvestri book. That would have been pretty cool. I mean, we don't know. I mean, there's so many characters that came with Heroes Reborn, you know, it's really untelling, you know. Maybe we could have got a Mark Silvestri Hulk. But anyway, it doesn't matter. I mean, after Heroes Reborn, Mark Silvestri did end up doing his own thing when Top Cow crossed over with Marvel Comics, and so we got to see a lot of that stuff. It wasn't quite the same as Heroes Reborn, but it was still a really cool storyline, and maybe we'll do that one night and talk about that. So anyway, back in 94, 95, Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld were talking about doing Heroes Reborn. They were approached, and they were negotiating how much they were going to get paid for it and how they wanted it done. And the Marvel editors at the time got word of this, and so they were trying their best. You know, all these guys in New York were trying their best to squash this deal because a lot of them feared for their jobs. Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld are West Coast guys, and you know there's the potential of Marvel moving their offices to the West Coast, and you know a lot of these guys ain't going to move out. You kind of get where this is going. So what these guys did was they started trying to revitalize Captain America, Iron Man, Thor, the Avengers, Fantastic Four, all on their own. Fantastic Four took Carlos Pacheco off the book of Excalibur, and they put him on Fantastic Four with Tom DeFalco. We got one issue of that, maybe two, which was great. They had Ron Garney and Mark Waid on Captain America, which was great. They had, I think, Warren Ellis, and I know you're getting bored looking at this image over and over. I'm sorry. I'm just kind of talking here. But they had Warren Ellis and Mike, however you pronounce his name, Deboda. I can't pronounce it. Amazing artist. They had him on Thor. He was also doing Avengers at one point, but they put somebody else on Avengers, and I can't remember who. And on Iron Man was kind of languishing, and what they did was at some point you had Jim Calafiore was drawing it, and they had this amazing storyline where Tony Stark had basically, I think he went to the dark side a little bit, or for some reason or not, you know, wouldn't clear cut. And so they went back in time and got a young Tony Stark and he became Iron Man. And this is a really cool storyline. And then basically Heroes Are Born happened, and it undid it all. Not so much Jim and Rob, but like when they brought the heroes back, they just kind of pretended that that didn't happen. So this article here says nuts and bolts. There's a new Iron Man in town, and his name is Tony Stark. Tony Stark, better known as Iron Man in the Marvel Universe, has gone bad, really bad, but everything's going to be okay. The Avengers have gone back in time to pull a 19-year-old Tony Stark to the present to take down the screwed up Tony Stark. Huh? Time travel? It hurts. It's not that complicated, says Iron Man writer Terry Cavan, or Kavanaugh. I bet it's Kavanaugh. The Avengers realize that to defeat a genius like Tony Stark, they need a genius like Tony Stark, Kavanaugh explains. The 19-year-old Tony is pulled from time before going to Vietnam, where his heart problem was revealed, which forced him into the armor to begin with. He'll still have the heart problem, the writer notes, and there's a whole lot to do with the tragic consequences of the confrontation with the current Tony Stark. But Tony Stark, a Mr. I helped found the Avengers, how could he go bad? Where did he go nuts? The influences that have tainted him have been almost from the beginning, probably from Kang's first confrontation with the Avengers, in Avengers number 8 onwards, Kavanaugh explains. That's when Kang targeted two of the Avengers, Giant Man and Tony, which, by the way, Kang is going to be the new big baddie, possibly, moving forward in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So he was trying to influence both of them, and that's more than likely led to Tony's alcoholism. With the help of Mantis, Kang finally succeeded in seducing Stark to his evil ways. So I'm not going to read the rest of it, but that was a cool storyline. And one or two of those issues for sure was inked by our friend, Peter Palmiotti. Isn't that cool? That's really cool, isn't it? I love that. That's cool stuff. Let me see what we got here. Now, this thing says, love Joe Benitez. Artwork also Michael Turner, in reference to Top Cow Comics. You see, you know, if they did Heroes Reborn, and Mark Silvestri was invited to be part of it, I mean, these guys would have been part of that, you know. So, what I mean, the questions here. I mean, we know Jim Lee had Fantastic Four and Iron Man, and he ended up having Wallace Portacio draw Iron Man. With Scott Lobdell did a great job writing that book, by the way. And we had Rob Liefeld overseeing Avengers and Captain America. I guess if it ended up the same, that would, you know, Mark, I don't see no reason why Mark Silvestri couldn't do Thor, what are some other, or Hulk. Let's see what else we got. What could he have worked on? I don't know. I have to think on that one when I'm not live. Let's see. I keep saying Peter is the Nexus. A watcher. But back to this, you know, whatever, you know, I mean, I think those characters I mentioned, you know, I could see Mark Silvestri kind of doing. And at this point, I think, I don't know if Mark Silvestri done The Darkness yet. No, I don't think The Darkness had came out yet. At least I don't think so. I could be wrong. It should be getting pretty close to the timeline of when The Darkness came out. But when Mark Silvestri did an issue of Spawn, he did one issue of Spawn. It was like his first time in a long time drawing a solo character, and he just, I think there was something about that that kind of influenced his idea, got the wheels turning in his head to do the darkness, you know. That's just my opinion. But, you know, I could see him doing a solo character during the Heroes Reborn and doing really cool. Um, I think it'd be awesome to see Mark Silvestri do Thor. I think that would have been cool. And maybe we could have got, you know, someone like Joe Benitez or Michael Turner doing, I don't know, Hulk, or there isn't too much left, I guess. I feel like there's more. I don't know. It's interesting. It's interesting stuff. Abe writes, maybe a Wildcat Sting puller. Just a thought. Agreed, CB. Yes, we're in agreement. I love it. Didn't Joe B draw Weapon Zero? Yeah, yeah. It was a really good looking book. You know, I remember seeing it in the first comic shop I ever went to. I didn't get to. I don't think I got to see it in the mom and pop stores and the gas stations. I mean, I saw other Image books there, but I think maybe my first introduction to it, other than Wizard, was probably seeing it in a comic book shop. That was a nice looking book, colors, art, and everything. So what are we looking at here for like 20 years? And this is a casting call for the Dark Knight Returns movie. These were always fun when Wizard would do this stuff, you know. Some of their picks were kind of so-so, and others looked pretty good. But you know, I got to say, you know, it's funny, they did a casting call for the X-Men, and they had casted Patrick Stewart as Professor Xavier. So you know, that worked out pretty good. How many of these people are still acting or retired? You know, in '96, you know, if they didn't use anything of Ronald Reagan, if they had made this movie in '96 or '97 or whatever, they'd have to use old clips of Ronald Reagan and stuff, and did do what they did in Forrest Gump when they was doing the CGI stuff. Uh, yeah, at this time, you know, President Reagan had full blown Alzheimer's or Alzheimer's, you know. I think in the last year of his presidency, he was really struggling, and his wife Nancy had to help him a lot. It was sad, 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 sad. Ba-ba-ba-ba. But then again, if you hated President Reagan, I guess you think the opposite. But I'm just saying, you know, just as a human being, it's sad. Boom, boom, boom. Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon's Unholy Quest for God, and Preacher takes a twisted and violent path. Immortal Combat. That is another thing. You know, I always see this cool Preacher stuff in Wizard, and never and never once saw it in grocery stores or anywhere. You know, because that's where grocery stores, gas stations, Walmart, pharmacies. That's where I got all my comics. You know. Got a bunch of them that way, actually, and you could find them everywhere. It was wonderful, and but you never found Preacher. You know, I think that was like a comic book store thing. I missed out on it at the time, but that's okay, because the things that you miss out on, you could always go back and find them later. I mean, look here. Who remembers Maggie the cat? I didn't until I just saw it. I may have to look Maggie the cat up. Mike Grell's Bad Girl reemerges in her own monthly Image comic series. I love it. I love this Maggie the cat. Risque Business. Naughty by Nature. Penthouse Comics undresses the sexy side of comics. Well, I forgot all about this. Artist wanted artist to pencil and ink sex scenes and naked female bodies. Contact David Elliott at Penthouse Comics. The call went out, and there were definitely takers. It's a clean slate for me, roars writer artist Keith Giffen. Sex and softcore is a whole new frontier for savaging and satire. It's something I've never been able to go in and give a twisted bend. I'm going to look this stuff up. I never got to read any of this. I mean, I'm looking at this awesome Mark Textera. Is that how you pronounce his name? He obviously did this and in this silhouette of a woman. And I can't remember the artist, the guy who did this. What is the name of that indie book he did? I think he did it for Dark Horse or Image Comics. It was, it's not Skull and Bones, but it's something like that. But this, I never read it. Jason Pearson might have been the artist. It's about this daughter and daddy duo that go kill bad guys, and he wears like a mask and he's got a big knife. I don't know, but this looks like Jason Pearson art. It looks awesome. We get what looks like a rated R X-Files. This is pretty cool. Penthouse Comics, spelled with an X. Oh, you guys remember Barbed Wire? I think I watched that movie and I can't remember a thing about it. No, don't let your minds go there. But there was a Barbed Wire comic, you know, that's something else interesting. And check this out. Lettering Perfect, how to letter a comic book in 7 easy steps. This looks awesome. I love this. Look at that T-square. Anytime you see a T-square and all these little things, you know, I guess if you had this laid out, it'd make you feel like an artist, wouldn't it? Make me feel like an artist. Or am I? Am I an artist? I don't know. Bam. You know, I'll probably leave this up. If you guys want to read this, I think this is issue 54. Don't quote me on that, of Wizard Magazine, and you can find it on Internet Archive. So I'm going to leave this pulled up because I want to learn to hand letter better and do it right. And he's got a lot of awesome stuff here using the Ames guide and the T-square and these pre-cut out shapes. Very nice. I love that. Very cool. Very cool. Oh, here's the actual full article of War of the Worlds of the Marvel DC crossover, which was kind of like, you know, it was still very cool, but like I just remember when they had everybody vote on who would win between all these characters, like who would win between Captain America and Superman, who would win between Wolverine and Lobo. I think Wonder Woman and Storm was another one. Then I think there was Thor and gosh, I can't remember. Did Thor also fight Superman or was it somebody different? I can't remember. But yeah, they had a bunch of them that was like that, and they did an issue, okay, and these were 1-page battles between each one of these characters. That's the only reason I didn't like it, is because, you know, you just got 1 page of Daredevil fighting Batman or something. It's lame, but it's still cool. It was really cool, but it was just lame that you know, they couldn't devote more pages to it. See, I think a lot of these Marvel and DC editors had a little bit too much pride, you know. So they had to do things in a very lame way. Mutant 90210. You can remember this? Generation X, when it was on Fox? I do. I watched it. And they did like 1 episode, maybe 2. I only remember like 1 episode coming out, you know. It was good. I mean, it went like mind blowing. You know, I need to look this up. It's probably on YouTube. If it works, there could be more Generation X movies or a series, and others will follow. But we are very focused on making Generation X great, which was an awesome comic book series, by the way. Well, so many great books. Hmm. You see this guy right here? He was the bad guy in the Generation X TV series or TV movie for Fox, and he was also the guy that played the husband in who had the the really big wife in the remake of Dawn of the Dead. Can't remember his name. I feel like he also played a minor villain who was kind of retired in the movie The Watchmen. When Titans Tussle 2. Oh, this is cool. I like this. There's an advertisement for Foxfire. Is that what her name is? For it's Malibu Comics that they got purchased by. Oh yeah, I was right. Foxfire. When they got purchased by Marvel. There's the Tick. That was a good series. I mean, well, I know the cartoon was great. I never read the comic. Sorry, can't read it all. Oh, there's our buddy Art T. Bear. In his creation, Black and White. America Online. So much great stuff here. Am I boring with this? Is this boring? I just think it's interesting, I'm just, that's pretty, I see someone says they'll be right back, but will they? Let me answer some of these comments or interact with them. In reference to if Top Cow Studios was invited to be part of Heroes Reborn, Nelly says yes. Hulk, Joe Benitez. Okay, I buy that. That'd be pretty cool. Michael Turner on Wolverine. I think he'd do a great Wolverine. I've seen Joe Benitez do Wolverine when they did eventually do a Top Cow Marvel crossover. So I think I'd like to see Joe Benitez do Wolverine. I think it'd be interesting to see Michael Turner on Punisher, though. I think that would be neat. I don't know. Joe Benitez, Spider-Man. Well, they didn't have Spider-Man in Heroes Reborn. And they pretty much just had like Fantastic Four and the Avengers, as far as I can remember. Because basically, Onslaught, this big bad character, had decimated a big chunk of New York, and when they killed him, somehow all the heroes, half of the Marvel heroes, and that was pretty much just the Avengers and freaking Fantastic Four, got sucked into this vortex thing, and they disappeared. And half of the essence of Hulk actually went into this. So this effect, so Hulk was still being published by Marvel strictly, with Peter David and I think what ended up being Adam Kubert drawing it, which was awesome. That's where you got the "Don't screw with me" Hulk, but the other half of his essence ended up in Heroes Reborn. But I don't know. It's such an iffy thing. I mean, I think they could have done Punisher in Heroes Reborn. I think they killed Punisher at this point. Like Nick Fury or somebody may have killed him. I can't remember, but it turned out that he faked his death. But but you know, it's comics. You can do anything. You know, you can write it any way you can to make it work. So why not Spider-Man? They had John Romita Jr. drawing Spider-Man at this point. Roger Cruz, loved Roger Cruz during this time. He's a phenomenal artist. I didn't realize it at the time, you know, but he, was aping J. Scott Campbell, but I never connected the two because he still had his own little thing going on. But Roger Cruz on X Patrol was awesome. It's great. Loved his work on X-Men as well. Del Keon Avengers. I would have liked to seen Del Keon on Fantastic Four during this time. Nowadays, his art's taking this new direction, and it's paintery with a pencil, and it looks really cool. But when you ink it, there's no way you can really ink it because he's shading with a pencil as opposed to doing cross hatching to create the shades. So a lot of that cool cross hatching that you saw in issues 1 through 8 of Pitt or whatever, he doesn't really do anymore. I mean, he started kind of doing it again a little bit, but it's not like his go-to thing, So I don't know. I'd like to see him. It'd been cool for me personally to see him do Fantastic Four back in the day. During the 90s, when he really got it together. If I would have made him, man, showed me that. Foxfire looks lame. Really? I don't know. I don't think it's that lame. I loved a lot of this stuff that I flipped through in Wizard. It looked pretty cool. Be right back. Better be Risey Lee. Better be back. A trip down memory lane. The tech battle cry is Spoon. Really? I can't remember. It's been forever since I watched it. Got a X-Files contest. Amaze the Agents X-Files contest every month in Topps Comics. There's so many publishers during this time. It's crazy. X-Files. Stand on field, government agents Mulder and Scully bravely investigate all sorts of weird, funky happenings. I bet some of us that are artists, at the skill level that we're at now, if we went back to the 90s, we'd have work. There's so many publishers. Why not? Why couldn't we have work? They bravely investigate all sorts of weird, funky happenings. Think you can come up with something worthy of their notice? Well, we think so. Come up with the best hoax you can and see if the government notices. Send in a photo that you mocked up of a supernatural event, like a UFO sighting, maybe Bigfoot, footprint or something, worthy of the agent's investigation. Do a good enough job, and the two people in trench coats just might show up at your door and start probing. Really? So these actors are going to show up? Grand prize. One reader will receive an extra spiffy X-Files leather jacket, a Topps Comics, the X-Files trade paperback, a copy of the X-Files #1, trading card, TV script. So Mulder and Scully don't actually show up. Well, that's kind of a bummer. It's false advertising. Character profile, the Max. Love the Max. Did you all see Gibbs' sketch of the Max? It looked just like Sam Keefe down to the T. That was great stuff. He needs to do more Max stuff. I love that. He needs to do more Doom Barbarian. I feel like he's really, really coming into his own in his art in a really good way. I saw he was just flipping through on a live stream once, and he had pulled out these drawings of dinosaurs, and these dinosaurs looked fantastic. I was like, oh man, that's great. I love that stuff. But he did an awesome Max that he put on eBay, and I think it sold, which doesn't surprise me. Oh, look, check this out on Wizard. I always loved this, that they had, these drawing and how-to courses. And Brute and Babe by Bart Sears used to be in this for a while, and it had lots of great advice in it. And then they followed it up with Greg Capullo, who did Crash Course, which was equally as awesome, and very helpful stuff. But apparently I didn't study it good enough. Lots of tips on how to do sequential storytelling and rendering and all these different things, different techniques that you can do. Oh man, I always loved that stuff. I gobbled it up, but apparently never took. And you know what, a drawing board, when they would feature like different artists' artwork, I was always blown away by it because I couldn't understand how they colored these, because I didn't have. I mean, like I knew that some of them did coloring pencils. Like this is coloring pencils. I'm fairly sure. This wizard with the golden angels on it. But it's like, anytime I picked up a coloring pencil, still to this day, it looks like hot garbage. Pretty cool. The fan art was always neat to look at. I always loved that. Oh, 11 CDs for the price of one. I did this. And I owe them money. But it was pretty cool. Pretty cool. It was a really good deal. I love that. I think what I ended up doing with 11 CDs is I got like maybe 2 or 3 AC/DC albums. I got a Jane's Addiction album. What else did I get? Trying to remember. I may have got like 4 or 5 AC/DC albums, as a matter of fact. I do know Jane's Addiction was one of them that I'd got. Jane says da 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 da. I've been caught stealing. This is just so fun to look at this stuff, Ace of Base. I should have got Ace of Base. I saw the sun. I opened up my eyes. I saw the sun. Na 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 na. That was huge for a while. That dominated the planet Earth. They had one song like, what was, not my baby, it's your baby. Something about a baby, can't remember. Maybe I got John Mellencamp as one of the 11 CDs. Slim Pickens. Should have got Collective Soul. That'd have been a good one. Collective Soul. And I think it was David Bowie's greatest hits on here. Probably been another good one. The singles from 1963 to 1993. What are you doing, Kat? More awesome art. Oh, this was always something that impressed me too. Homemade Heroes, where people made action figures of their some of their favorite characters, and this always blew me away how people could do this. Is crazy. And I remember, 1996. So, me seeing this stuff, and I think sometime in, what are you doing, Kat? You better knock it off. I got this cat here. But sometime in the early 90s, I remember being in elementary school. There was this kid, he told me that his parents, his dad or uncle or something, worked for a trading card company, and they can make a card of Wildcat. They can make a card Wildcat for me, but it would cost me if I would trade like a rookie of the year Jamal Mashburn or something like that, Kentucky Wildcats trading card. I think that's what it was, for it. And I just about did that. And then, my mother talked me out of it. It was a devastating scenario. I never got my Wildcat trading card. Still haven't got my Wildcat trading card. Might get a comic book of Wildcat. Who knows? It's on Indiegogo right now, as a matter of fact. We're at $800 of a $1,500 go. Got a DC versus Marvel contest. Look at this art right here of Thor taking on Wonder Woman. Is done by Joe Quesada. I never noticed how this Thor costume in the 90s was kind of but it still looks kind of cool. I mean, the way Joe drew it right here looks pretty neat, but like there was kind of some hit and miss ideas with the costumes that Marvel and DC was doing. They was trying to compete with Image, and it just never took off, with readers. Whoa! I'm sorry, guys. Jeff and Gibb kept me up all night with their awesome live stream. Turned into a full-on anarchy. Anarchy, I say. I thought that mummy girl was flipping me off. I actually got a few of these Age of Apocalypse action figures. I got Wolverine, I think. I don't know if I have Sabretooth or not. I feel like I did. I got Cyclops. Maybe Magneto. Those are great. Those are great times. Maybe I should zoom out so you can see a little bit more of it. I always like looking at the top 10 comics. That was great. She was number 1. X-Men Omega, Generation X, Gen 13, Vengeance of Vampirella. So wait, Gen 13 came out after Generation X? That can't be right. I felt like Gen 13 may have came out first, but that's interesting. Oh, no. I mean, like, shoot, they got Wolverine number 1 in this top 10. So, no, okay. So this isn't like, what came out in a certain month. This is just like, what's selling really hot right now. Okay. During that time, anyway. Yeah, Generation X number 1 came out in 1994. According to this thing. There, X-Men number 50. If you've not read that, you need to pick it up because it's a really cool story. And Andy, the artwork just looks so great. And Andy Kubert was working with this inker at the time named Cam Smith. Cam Smith had done inks over Gary Frank on Incredible Hulk. And Cam Smith makes Andy Kubert look really good. I loved Andy Kubert's pencils before Cam Smith. He was doing kind of like, what if Joe Kubert had studied Jim Lee and added lots of cross hatching and stuff like that, which was cool. But Cam Smith just took his art in this really cool organic looking direction, and it popped out. And I remember being, I think in middle school, and just this came out, and it was great. And they had this villain named Post, and this is like before um, Onslaught showed up, I think, which is really neat. Spawn Wildcats #1. Wow. We got Pit down here, Pit #10. This is so cool. I love this stuff. Oh, this is right here. This is important, and I think I won't go no further with this issue with that. Oh, let me go back. Growing up, I always wanted to be in the top 10. I felt like I've made it as an artist if I could be in the top 10. We got like Todd McFarlane, Joe Mad, and Joe Quesada, and Jim Lee, and J. Scott Campbell, Frank Miller, Greg Capullo, Steve Hughes, Tom Grummett, Mike, whose last name I can't pronounce. And then we got all these fantastic writers like Neil Gaiman, Peter David, Kurt Busiek, Mark Waid, James Robinson, Garth Ennis, Warren Ellis, Scott Liddell, Alan Moore, and Stefan Pachura. What happened to that guy? But anyway, I always wanted to be in the top 10 hottest artists. I wanted to be in that. And, it's not going to happen now because, Wizard as a magazine, as a company, has been dead for decades now. It's a shame, these unrealized things on your bucket list, get taken from you. So disappointing. Didn't get a Wildcat trading card and didn't get to be in the top 10. Price guide's cool too. I just flipped through the price guide, because I don't know. I don't know why. I didn't really check to see if my books were valuable or anything. It's just, neat to read these things and just kind of see what was hot, what was in red, and sometimes something being blue because supposedly the price went down. You see, you got these little blurbs at the bottom. I don't even know what that says. And later on, apparently, some people accuse Wizard of manipulating the market. Making things seem hotter than what they were. And yeah, let's flip on through to the back of the book. I mean, read the whole book. These conventions. Here's Bart Sears. There we are. We pretty much flipped through this whole turd. What do you think of that? And I did it. I did it for you. Ooh, let's answer some comments. I tried to buy that painting. Trying to remember, I wished I remember what that was in reference of. I flipped through so many things. Nope, I had the same skills way back in the 90s. DC, Marvel, Image, Top Cow didn't want me, but the fashion industry did, then music industry, and now the movie industry. So Nelly is actually making money. Awesome. Main reason why I bought Wizard was because of the drawing section. I love the whole magazine. I thought it was just great. And then I remember in the millennium, in the 2000s, it just they thinned it down. Like it went from being this thick to about that thick, and it just became a celebrity rag, where they're just talking about, I don't know, I feel like they had Buffy the Vampire Slayer on the cover and all this other stuff, and just like, I don't know, like I think may have let go or fired, or some people quit that helped put that book together, and it showed. It just went downhill in the 2000s, but in the 90s, that was great. It was a great magazine. God blessed me with all my success. Amen. When all those doors closed, he opened up the other doors for me. Well, that's good. Very good. Hey, me too. Well, sometimes buying for the same reason, save my money to get Wizard. That book, I seem like from memory, that book was like $5 to like $8, somewhere in there, somewhere in that price range. I like the issue where they had Iceman's chest busted out. Ooh, I think I remember that. It's been a while. Maybe my skills a little improved. Now I can scan my work in a computer to manipulate it a little, then transfer work onto the thumb drives. Wonder if you meaning the does the Andy Kubert 90s run at Kazar count, or are you talking about the original? Wow, we really went through that, didn't we? But yeah. But I want to talk about the anthology briefly, if you all indulge me. And here's some sketches I did. Just working on stuff. Eyes a little off. I always draw my eyes a little off, not because I'm being cool, but because I suck. I mentioned this on a stream the other night, sometime or another, that when I start to draw something and I think it looks cool, I start to turn it into Wildcat. So this is just a sketch of me just learning, trying to absorb stuff, and I liked it so good I started giving it, Wildcat's little head tattoos and stuff, and yeah. I think my style is going to an interesting place with the cross hatching, but I'm getting really influenced by Philip Tan, and Philip Tan's like the man now. Like, he's drawing really awesome, and you should look up his stuff on look up Google Images, look up, I think, maybe Twitter and on Instagram, and you'll find his art. And I've been trying to do some of his cross hatching technique, like right through here and stuff like that, and I'm going to try to do more fan art. I'm going to do some fan art. See if I can get some love and affection for CB. Not too shabby looking Robin, I guess. Love the Nightfall Batman. That was very short lived. It was pretty cool. This is my favorite iteration of the character. They did like a issue 500 that was bagged. I remember that. And this was on the cover. That was really cool. And then once he started becoming Azrael with the yellow and red gear, which was still cool, but I like that blue and yellow and gray Batman from Nightfall. Is awesome. I can feel the grainy texture on this, where I've used a one of those drawing nibs, inking nibs, whatever. Look at that big fat neck. It's massive. Abe says, in answer to Nellie Singh's question, Conan, the big book, and Kerry Nord stuff. Kerry Nord is awesome. I first got introduced to him when I saw him do an issue of Daredevil. He did like maybe 2 issues of Daredevil, and one of them, Mr. Hyde fought Daredevil, and it was great. And I wish they kept Kerry Nord on Daredevil. And then he did a flashback issue of Wolverine, and then he just disappeared from Marvel. And then sometime much, much later, I felt like he ended up drawing Conan for Dark Horse, the black and white version. Well, we should work together in the future and do some collaboration for movies. I'm trying to dip my toes in video games too. Who, Abe or me? I'll even if you ain't talking about me, I'll collab. I'll collab with anybody. My biggest downfall though is I say yeah to everything. Yeah. I just it's just trying to um what do you call that, like multitask effectively. I struggle with that. It's a big struggle. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Yeah, I'll collaborate with you. Absolutely. I know it doesn't sound like Omega sincere, but I am being sincere. CB is the ideas man. That's true. I am of all the things that I am a really good ideas man more than anything. Pretty good at it. Now Frank Salazar, uh, when he's in the chat, he throws out these ideas ever so often, and I'm always amazed by his mind because when he throws out these little nifty little ideas, I'm like, oh man, I wish I thought about that. It's really good little marketing ideas. You have to watch him when he does this stuff. It's great. But other than that, I feel like I do pretty good with ideas, but it's execution. Execution is CB's problem. He needs to draw more and write more. Well, for some reason, I'm doing a very poor Russian accent, very offensive to men who drink vodka for breakfast. You need to shut your mouth, Kentuckian, and know your place before Mother Russia makes you lick her booty and defeat you in sport somehow. Oh, I was going to talk about the anthology. I got sidetracked. Why did I get sidetracked? So anyway, what I was going to say about the anthology is that I extended it another 30 days, as you all know, and I just wanted to remind you of that and spread the word, spread the gospel. I know Annoyans have all done that, and I really, really appreciate that. And I just want to thank everybody for doing that, by the way, because I do see that stuff. I do see, like, Abe shared it here, like on Facebook, and I think on Twitter, and I've seen Peter Palmiotti share it at these sites, and also Robert Johnston and B.W. Sims, and I've seen Jan share it, and I think I mentioned Peter Palmiotti, and also who else? There's quite a few people. I feel like I've left off here, but like, I'm sorry, Mr. DeLuca, Peter DeLuca. I've seen him share it out, so I see that stuff. Everybody's working hard, working harder than me. I'm getting ready to get my mind ready to try to hit the live show circuit, to promote the book, and that seems to make a difference. And I got on Facebook yesterday when the sun was up, and I tagged everybody and their mother that's kind of local or regionalized where I live at, uh, to see if they will share and hopefully more preferably back the book. So we may see one or two backers out of that. It was like 23 people, I think, that I tagged in it. I'm going to do like mass taggings on Twitter. People love that. They love to be tagged. Had this one lady, she got awful upset with me. It's like, undo this now. Why would you do this without asking first? I was like, oh, shoot. People tag me all the time on Twitter, but I don't get all bent out of shape about it. I just like, because at usually the notifications for that run out after like a day, no more than two. I mean, like, did it interfere with her Twitter business that bad? She might be one of these people that has a phone, and she's just like obsessed with Twitter, and so like she's got her phone to have like notifications going off. Maybe it just like because she has to know every single notification that goes off on her phone. I don't know. But I did oblige her. What I did was I ended up deleting like part of the tweet that had her tagged in it, so yeah. Let's see here. Another thing says, want to film this summer my little horror movie in Kentucky and Tennessee, Colorado, and California, but heat wave weather, floods, and plague is still happening, CB. Yeah, pretty much. Just apocalypse. There's always these things that try to prevent you from doing the thing that you want to do. The key is just to do it anyway. My opinion, just to do it anyway, because there's never a perfect time for anything. You just have to power through it. But it's easier said than done. I'm still sharing Wildcat Anthology with all the people I know. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Very, 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 very much. Even CB, I'm in a restaurant sitting next to some French dudes. So bonjour. Well, tell them I said bonjour as well. And on behalf of, I've got nothing funny to add. But it's pretty cool. Not drawing tonight. Well, actually, I have been drawing. I was watching Jeff and Gibbs stream earlier, which was really good. They had Joshua Kimball on, and it turned into a very cool free for all. And I was working on this, like I'd worked on this like a couple weeks ago, and then just kind of stopped. And so I'm just kind of finishing inking. Got to do the buildings and get Robin all finished up, and then a few little odd little spots here, and then kind of move on. So I have been doing that. But on this show, pretty much went over some weird news, and then went through a big nostalgia run of Wizard magazine. And it's like, just, I guess, to be honest, I'm kind of tired. It's like 6:40 a.m. where I'm at. And I don't know. I'm running out of steam. Bonjour, Suburns. Also, that was a passionate debate on the Artcast, right? Yeah, it was. I love that. And, if you get bored on this show, go watch the rerun on Artcasters. I wish Jeff and Gibb would kind of rebrand that, because there's two Artcasters. Maybe they could call themselves the original Artcasters, or the OG Artcasters, or Artcaster Legends, or something. I don't know. Differentiate it a little bit. But for those that don't know, the big debate was, look at that hand. That's a massive hand. Pimp smacking hand. They just invited Joshua Kimball on, and because I guess he had sold like 900 books or something like that, which is very, very impressive. I mean, like, usually when people do like Indiegogos and crowdfunders, Kickstarters, if you look to see how many people back those books, you're lucky to get 100 people to 500 people. So for him to sell 900 books, I'm assuming that 900 individuals bought these books, which I don't know the full story. Scratching my nose here. Everybody loves to watch that. But an impressive feat. That's really good. Very good. Good for indie, even good for pro books, I would say, even on the more lower end. But anyway, so that they're doing the they have him on to talk about that. And what ended up happening was, he was talking about like how he's getting his stuff published through a publisher, and he was what helped him was he had a literary agent that helped him quite a bit. The literary agent helped him get his stuff published, and actually got him further in his career as an artist than how he was on his own for over a decade or more, you know. And he was advocating to the audience that they should get a literary agent too. And this set Jeff in a spiral of anger and rage. Well, that's probably a big exaggeration, but uh, he just like, I don't know about that, you know. And it's kind of like, how so? And then, you know, this isn't word for word, you know, but that's the general gist of it. So after that, you know, pretty much just Jeff and Joshua Kimball, they just started talking more about their positions. And then Jeff was pretty adamant about like that was kind of a dumb idea for to have a literary agent and to, you know, as a indie artist, you know, just going through a publisher. And I'm paraphrasing here and I'm not doing it justice, but his argument was that um, that most of the small publishers out there that will publish you, you're not going to make money from them. And you know, you may end up losing more money than making money, and you'd be better off just self-publishing anyway, where you get 100% of something. And he was kind of against the idea. And I could be wrong about this because I'm just paraphrasing. The best thing to do is just to watch that live stream, you know, where they can represent themselves better than me just paraphrasing it. But Jeff was basically went on to say that, you know, he was against the literary agent because basically the way it came across to me is his impression was, you know, you got this somebody that could be potentially interfering with your movie rights to your character or rights to your character and all this other stuff. And that's the way I felt like he was taking it. And I could be entirely wrong about that. Now, Joshua Kimball's point of view was he felt that personally for him, the having a literary agent has helped further his career, has been good for him, and that he has a small publisher or publishers that he's with that are really good, and that these people have a team of people that are invested in him because if they can, you know, that they have product that he's made, and if they can push that product out the door, they can make money with it. And so everybody has the same investment in each other. And for him, it's worked out good. And also having a literary agent is just somebody else to take the burden off your shoulders of having to worry about doing a lot of different things. You can just focus on making comics or art and that sort of thing. He didn't quite put it that way, but that's how it came across. And so, you know, Jeff still felt that was kind of a dumb thing because, you know, like to him, these are a bunch of middlemen. And why do all that when you can just do it yourself? And basically, Mr. Kimball went on to articulate that in his own way, that these literary agents, they have connections, you know, they have relationships with publishers, and some have relationships with film studios, in his case libraries, where he could get his books out there, you know. And it just kept going on and on and on, and it did kind of get heated, you know. I think each one of them kind of felt like, whether they admitted it or not, that they were being stepped on a little bit by the other person. not so much in a malicious way, but like, oh, so you're going to go there, you know. Not that they were getting personal with each other. Well, they did kind of throw a few jabs here and there, nothing too outlandish. But it just like, yeah, it's getting pretty fiery, you know. And it was great because you're getting to hear this information of these two individuals and their perspectives. And me as a viewer, I feel like Jeff's perspective comes from a place of being in the comic book industry for a while, and knowing people in the comic book industry for a while, and he's seen how, and I apologize for saying this, but how shitty it is. It's just um there's just crazy people in comics, and if there's not crazy people in comics, there's people that are out to do you harm or do you no good, and just to take from you. They're not there to help you up or anything like that. It's just like, what do you can do for me? And and I feel like that's probably Jeff's perspective. That's been his experience. Now I can't speak for him. That's the way it came across to me watching the live stream. Um, and I think that's probably shaped his worldview. And maybe Joshua Kimball has come up in a different perspective because maybe he's encountered more good in his indie comics venture than what Jeff has. Um, and so I think that's pretty much maybe right down to the core of the source of the debate. But I loved it. I thought it was great. And I could tell these people still love each other overall after it's all said and done. Well, I think they'll still be a little bit sore because there's a few little stingers in there. So, but it was really cool. I liked all the gentlemen involved, Jeff, Gibb, and Joshua. They're really cool people. And by the way, Joshua Kimball, other than being a great artist, he's also an excellent interviewer. If I was ever putting a magazine together, called Mental Junk Food, that talked about comics, sci-fi, horror, pop culture, and everything in between, I would want to get that guy to help put it together in terms of interviewing people and stuff like that, because he has a natural knack for interviews. I really need to get up with him to thank him for his interview that he did several weeks with me on his Artcasters with Scott Circlin, and I feel like the other guy's name was Adam. Corey I think it was Corey. Yeah. Sorry, Corey. It's hard for me to remember names, but yeah, I need to get with him, thank him in private or whatever. But anyway, so if you were to ask me what do I think about the whole live stream thing, who was right or who was wrong? Well, this may sound like a cop out, like me being a fence sitter, but honestly, I think they were both right. I think no matter what road you choose or path you take, you got to be careful and watch your butt, because someone's going to be out there to try to screw you over. Now, me personally, I feel like we need to be the tide that rises all ships. We need to be the change that we want to see. And in the world that we live in, people don't want you to do that. They want you to be as evil and effed up as they are, because misery loves company. But, things will never change or get better unless we be the change that we want to see. You know what I mean? And it's not always easy to do. But in the case of the literary agent, I feel like some people could benefit from a literary agent, and I feel like other people, it's just best not to fool with it. I mean, like, for example, if you're somebody like Arthur Adams, let's say Arthur Adams don't need a literary agent, because all that literary agent is going to do is just take money out of his pocket. Arthur Adams can just call up somebody at Marvel himself or DC and say, hey, you want me to draw a cover? You want me to draw some interiors? And then he gets the 100% of whatever they pay him. A literary agent's going to take anywhere from 10% on up or something like that for helping you get work and stuff like that. Now, if you're like an indie artist or a low level artist, you might benefit from those connections of a literary agent. But then I think if you look at what Jeff said and his experience, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but the way it came across is a lot of bad people in comics, I guess probably in the 90s, and how do you know that you got a good literary agent that's actually looking out for you? It's not screwing you over. And here's what I mean by that. I remember 20 years ago, gosh, I'm getting old. I'm one of those now. Oh gosh, I'm getting old. Ooh. But 20 years ago, give or take, I was looking for work, and I went to this place called the Job Shop. And the Job Shop is basically, they have these contracts with these high-paying jobs where people work in factories and stuff like that, and a couple of low-paying jobs too. And people sign up to Job Shop, and the same day that you sign up, you got work that day. You go start working at whatever factory, And I just remember, I went there to get a job, and same day got something worked out. And she's like, okay, how much do you want to get paid starting out? And say, I was very humble and very naive and young. I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I said what sounds fair to you or what it was, but I think it was like $7 or something, or $8. I can't remember. And this is one of those jobs that pay like $12 an hour or something. It probably was a lot more than that. And she had me wait out in the hall, and I heard her on the phone talking to, I guess, the guy that was working there. Oh yeah, I actually talked him into this much. And then later that day I went to that job, and they were in desperate need, that company, because like the factory had blew up the day before, and they made like fiberglass or something that went under the hoods of cars or something like that. And I worked there for like 12 hours, and then I was supposed to take my paper to somebody that's like the head whatever honcho to sign it so I can get paid, and the Job Shop would pay me, not that business or whatever. So I went. So I had to go to the home office and drive there, and I got there, and it's like early in the morning, sun's coming up, just like how it is now, and where I'm at, and it's like the plant there was the one that blew up, because I was at a different plant, like Site B or something, and it looked like there was like a union or something like that was set up under a tent. They had a TV playing, and they had all this stuff, and people were frantically walking all around, and it was a big deal. And people were giving me like the evil eye, because I guess I had replaced somebody's job that refused to keep working because of unsafe working conditions. I didn't know any of this stuff. And I went into the offices, and the office looked abandoned, like there were lights and stuff around, but there was nobody in there. I was told that's where to go to look for the head honcho. Head honcho was nowhere to be found. So pretty much that same day, I just quit. That was it for me. So between somebody purposely stiffing me out of money, earning more money, and number two, working the long hours. Number three, it was just so disorganized and all this other stuff. I was like, screw that. So the reason I bring up the story, this 20-year-old story, is like, you run the risk of, when you go with a literary agent or a publisher, of having somebody that's out to screw you, to take from you, to only benefit themselves. You know what I mean? But I don't think it's that way in all cases. I mean, there are decent people out in this world. So it's one of these things where you have to watch your butt, and I was answering like a question that I'd given myself. And for anyone that's just now watching, what I'm talking about is the Artcasters live stream. And it was a debate over getting a literary agent, and a debate over, what was the thing? Fish sticks. What fish sticks? It was going through a small publisher, okay, as a indie creator. In my personal view, I feel like it's not a one size fits all approach. For some people, having a literary agent's great. If you're like, if you got a good one, it'd be good for you. If you're just, kind of getting started out and you need to get work, it kind of get your name out there, because the literary agent, if you got a good one, a decent one, and one's not trying to screw you, they'll have connections and they'll have relationships with publishers that can help get your foot in the door of whatever it is that you're trying to do. At least I assume so. I don't know. I don't have one. And working with small publishers. Now, working with small publishers, I'm a little bit more skeptical of, because, right now, like, I remember reading a horror story 10 years ago. I think there was a book called Skull Kickers or Skull Crushers. It was a popular book, not like Omega popular, but it's published by Image Comics. Very professional, nice looking book. And I remember reading an interview by the creator, and basically half the time they didn't even break even. They didn't even break even. A book published by Image Comics didn't even break even half the time. It was a nice looking book. It was a popular book. And it's like, that scared the not the pants off him, but, scared the far out of me. It was just, wow, this guy gets his book published by Image and he can barely break even. And sometimes he doesn't break even at all. And he has to pay all these other people on the book that help make this book. And it's when it opened my eyes, like, even working for Image Comics, well, not working for Image Comics, but being published by Image Comics doesn't mean you're going to make money. And imagine being on these smaller publishers, and trying to get paid. And I've read horror stories of small publishers stiffing people on pay, and how people have to sue them. And then it's just, oh man, it's crazy stuff. So to me, it's like, I feel Jeff is right. And I also feel that, Joshua's right. There's good and bad people everywhere. And it's just like one of these things where you have to watch your butt, just got to be smart about it. At the end of the day, I do personally believe the best route to go is indie, is to get your creations out there and just do it yourself. And you're going to make the most money. You get 100% of 100%, but the only problem with it is sometimes you need to get your foot in the door and you need help. Literary agent may help with that, helping you get your stuff in front of producers or in front of the right people, may help you get your stuff distributed by Diamond or Luna or all the other different distributors there are now. Or they can screw you. I don't know. I really don't know. But that's kind of my take on it, So I think they're both right. And it's not a cop-out. It's just like one of these things, like I said, if you're Arthur Adams, you don't need a literary agent, The only thing you need to do is just keep working, keep making covers and stuff like that, and make 100% of whatever you get paid. So let me answer some of these comments, because I'm probably buried way behind. Nelly Sings, this is Cool Art CB. And for anyone that's just tuning in, I'm pretty lame showing the same art over and over again. I probably need to show other art. Here is my Batman, Nightfall Batman. Love Nightfall Batman. Just need to finish inking Robin and these stupid buildings, these very lame buildings, There's this colorist that is on Twitter. And when I get paid, I'd like to approach him and say, hey, color this thing, because I feel like, if I put this up for sale or something like that, it'd be more likely to sell. And speaking of that, I was thinking of actually adding more tiers to the Wildcat campaign, different things, art and stuff, maybe. It's just so hard to part with artwork, but I don't know. I've not made a decision yet, but, I guess if it helps fund the book, why not? Love this CB style live stream. Very intimate, unplugged. Very cool. I appreciate that. I like that. I've got my guitars here. I can bring the metal at any moment. I wonder if it actually would pick up well if I even hit a note or two on this bad boy. I don't even think the amp's on. Look at that bald spot. Ugh. The world's most sloppiest solo of all time. I don't know if you heard any of that. Love that CB live stream. Very intimate, unplugged. Yeah, it's enough of that. I love this guitar. This was the first guitar I ever bought. I mean, it's not my first guitar, but I had bought this at Sound Goody. It used to be called On Cue, and neither exists now. This is a SG knockoff. I took off the chrome that was on the humbuckers. Probably should have left that on. And then I put these racing straps on there. For some reason, I took the knobs off too. And then I put new knobs on it recently that were much smaller, more to my preference. I added this really cheap little diamond thing. And it's a Silvertone guitar. Silvertone makes great guitars, in my opinion. Oh, and I remember now why this doesn't have the silver cover humbucker things is because I took a Dean guitar and put the humbuckers in it. Love it. Yeah. Bum, bum, bum. Come as you are, as you were, as I want you to be. Yes, great CB, the two sides of the same coin, in reference to the really awesome Artcasters live stream I had last night. You need to watch the replay if anyone has not seen it. Thumbs up as well. It's a weird looking thumb. I'm a weird looking man who has facial hair that does not grow appropriately. Hate that. Why can't it be cool like a celebrity? Maybe their facial hair is fake. It's like glue on or something. Yes, CB, wonderful wisdom you were sharing. I hope so. Every once in a while, I have these wise moments of insight. It's very rare, though. Ashton Jackal says, good morning. Good morning to you as well. I'm glad that you're here, friend. I'm driving but listening, so I won't be interacting a lot. That's okay. I'll keep you company. I experienced the very bad, but it showed me who I am in the end. I fight like Batman or fight like the Punisher, but be humble like Superman and know that the laws/contracts treat others like you want to be treated. And this is in reference to the debate between having a literary agent and working with small publishers versus just going along and doing everything yourself. Thumbs up to that. And knowing is half the battle. G.I. Joe. It says not all or morning all. We'll laugh in unison. He may already be gone, but in case he's not, I'm glad that you hung out with us. Now this thing says, that is so cool, CB. Unplugged. Nice. Wow, Frankensteiner guitar mod, sweet. Yeah. I want, I really like the Dean pickups that were in the Dean guitar, and it's very rich, full sound. It's got a little bit of crunch to it, but not too much where it sounds ugly. And also, I like the light body. That's the SG, and it's solid, and it stays in tune. It's very, very, very nice. Very nice. I'd like to add a tremolo bar to it, but I'm kind of sick. I don't think I'll ever do that now because I'm afraid I'll mess the tuning up. Where it won't stay in tune. So I don't know. I may change my mind. I'm very scaredy cat about messing with my guitar too much. I'm a scaredy man. Because like when you have something that works good, you kind of don't want to mess with it. But then you're always a fool, or at least I'm always a fool, and I'm like, but yeah, I have good, but I could have great. So that's what gets you in trouble. That's what gets me in trouble. Instead of being happy with good, I got to have great. I won't leave well enough alone. Nellie Singh says, celebs use use Rogaine for growing facial hair and beard. Really? I did not know that. That's what I need right now. I don't know if you want to see this disgusting stuff. Blah, 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 blah. Look at this. It doesn't even want to grow in thick here. It's like a little bit thick there. Through here, a little bit scraggly. Thicker here on the chin, prosperity. And then like it's this weird little cat whiskers that sometimes look good when I do this. But I get to talking, they get out of shape, and there's like these little clumps. I don't. There's this guy on YouTube. Used to be on Adult Swim before he got kicked off. I think his name's Sam Hyde. I got Sam Hyde facial hair. Can you imagine what my hair used to be like when it was full? It's very, yeah. And I got this French tickler, and this thing just wants to stick out and say hi all the time. Goatee's not too bad, though. It's kind of a little sparse there. This actually looks a lot better when I'm out in the sunlight, but this kind of lighting situation I got. Yeah. I need some Rogaine for my face. I'd like to have some Rogaine for somewhere else as well. Gilb has dropped in, and he's dropping in to say hi. I'm glad you dropped in. What a night on the Artcasters. A slugfest. A battle to the death. Take no prisoners. Is very, very, very entertaining. I thought it was great. It was great stuff. Sitting there cheering it on, fanning the flames in the chat. Good stuff. I loved it. Peter Retro Palmiotti says, "Hey CB, no." You probably didn't see it earlier, but I actually had pulled up Wizard number 54, and then we went through it, and in there they talked about young Iron Man. Right before Heroes Reborn came out, they talked about young Iron Man, young Tony Stark taking on old Tony Stark, and it showed, oh gosh, I already forgot his name. Jim California. Showed Jim's art, and I was talking about like may have been Avengers, but Iron Man, one or both. You had inked some of that stuff during that time. I mentioned that. It's pretty cool, very cool. And then I went through the whole spiel talking about the history of that. Not the history of your inking, but the history of that storyline and what led up to it and all that good stuff. It's true. They used to. It's true. They use it to look and have full beards. Nelly says, in reference to Rogaine. So, wow, my mind is blown. Now I'm thinking about Rogaine for a beard. You have blown my mind. I should get on these live streams and just use it live on the air and just kind of rub it in. I have used that stuff once, many moons ago, and just it wasn't like a regular regiment that I could do at that time. I just remember it stunk. It's very stinky stuff. It has the same smell as like a cat that's dropped acid, and that's what its pee smells like, maybe. It's a funny CP French tickler. Yeah, that's what it is. Everyone lived. Did they, though? Did they live? Look like blood everywhere to me. Blood. Anyway, look at your music. Baby Iron Man. I love Baby Iron Man. I wish they kept that going. When they did Heroes Return, that was a mistake. Marvel messed up because I don't know. I don't know what their deal is. Like, there's only like very few periods in Marvel's history where they actually knew how to write Iron Man. And when the Iron Man movie came out, that was like, this is how you write Iron Man. And they still can't figure it out. But yeah, I wish they stuck with the young Iron Man because that'd been really cool, because Peter Parker at this point was grown up and he was having adult issues, which was great. I love that stuff. But it'd been cool to have a young Iron Man be Iron Man. Yeah, I may have inked what you saw, maybe. Yes. Very cool stuff. Love it. Yeah. Man, the day has just come, went. There's something else from the old sketchbook. There's this one lady on Twitter. She's got this really good poses with her face. I guess that's the way you put it. Saw one and I had to draw it. I added the creature from the Black Lagoon into it. Just about got this sketchbook filled up, but I still need to do a lot more work. Here's a study thing where I was studying Rob Liefeld a little bit and kind of doing my own thing, like trying to do a collage, and really I need to erase that head in the back. This looks terrible, and this big head needs work. The rest of it looks pretty good. Like how cable turned out. Oh, does my ticker say that I have 2 days left to back the Wildcat? Well, I guess people better hurry then. They may be surprised to see there's like 20 something days left, but this is what it takes to get them to go to it. Maybe that's what it takes. Flipping through the sketchbook. I know you can't see a lot of this stuff, you know. Some stuff's kind of hit and miss. You know, this is me studying J. Scott Campbell, and you know, kind of hit and miss. There's Wildcat right there. That's a good looking Wildcat. There's a study piece I did of Del Keon back when he was on Dragon Force. Really like the way that he would do the shading on the costume. Thought that was pretty cool. So I was trying to learn that. You would see that a lot with John Byrne back in the day, and also Bob. What is Bob? I keep forgetting Bob's name. I don't know why I forget his name. You know, he was the editor-in-chief at one point of Valiant Comics after he dethroned Jim Shooter. Not Bob Hall, which Bob Hall is a great artist, but it don't matter what Bob's name is. Bob was known for drawing Iron Man, but anyway, he did this stuff, and you know, I wish Bob would have inked John Byrne for a run on something. I think they would have been a great team together. So that was kind of a missed opportunity. Oh yeah, there's a missed opportunity to work together. This is like the worst sketchbook that I've ever done. It really is. It's pretty rough. I mean, look at this stuff. me practicing, trying to draw curvy, straightish lines to use in feathering and cross hatching, and trying out different pins and nibs to see what they would do. Well, this is a rough looking sketchbook. Peter Palmiotti says, Bob Layton, my former boss. That's it. Thank you. I think he's a great inker. I think Bob Layton's a great inker, and he should have inked John Byrne. I don't know why they never. I think they worked together at least once, and it was on a Defenders annual, maybe, and that annual looked awesome. And I just wish they did more of it because it was too short lived. Let's see. You'll see the difference in your facial hair and beard. Just look it up and try Rogaine for beards and mustache. I might do that. The stuff on my face looks pretty skanky, and I promise in the sunlight it looks a lot better. But this lighting shows the truth. It shows the world. CB Skanky Smallwood, Mr. Bean Smallwood, maybe with facial hair. Nice piece. Love that Rob inspired piece. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I love the art studies, CB. Thank you. I'm trying to get better. You know, sometimes I get torn when it comes to my art. Like, I feel like, you know, I'd like to take like a couple months where I just do nothing but this, you know, where I just fill up sketchbooks and work on my art and try to level up and then draw comics. But, you know, the weird thing is the only way to get good at comics is to draw comics, because because it involves sequential storytelling and that sort of thing. And That's the only way you can do it, you know. So like you kind of have to do both, or maybe I'm looking at it all wrong. You know, I could be wrong. I don't know. Obviously, I'm wrong somehow, or I'd already, you know, be a comic book artist making money for a living. But in my opinion, that's what I'm thinking. Whatever it is that I just said. You also need to drop the like into your video description box as well as a pin in the chat. Okay. Oh, you mean like for the Indiegogo campaign? Okay. Push, 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 push. I plan on that. You know, I plan on doing some more interviews. I'm trying to find some different people to do interviews with. Just been taking it easy the past couple of days, but you know, I've tagged like a lot of local people in my area that know me personally, that seen me in the flesh, about 23 people or so. And so, you know, may get one or two backers out of that, you know. And why not all of them? Because I don't know. I mean, just because you know somebody doesn't mean they're going to back you, you know. They give you the moral support, you know. And that's not me just being evil or talking down on anybody. I'm just saying, you know, that's just life, you know. I mean, I'm the same way. You're all the same way, you know. You only have so much money at some time. But I do feel that I do expect one or two more backers from that. I'm also going to start tagging people on Twitter again to finish that all the way up to the letter Z. And I already mentioned that I was planning on doing some more interviews. I was thinking about approaching Joe Tolliver of Comic Cast, putting a post out on what was it on Twitter, you know, asking people if I can come on their live streams if they'd like to have me on. I can be entertaining sometimes, you know, a little here and there. Yes, I meant the link. Got my big day tomorrow with Designated going live. Whooped. Awesome. Congratulations on that. So that's going to be cool. Keep your sketchbooks. My old art now. Everyone from high school are sharing some of it on social media, and the yearbook I did for graduation class. Also, football t-shirt designs for fundraising. Very cool. Very, very, very cool. Yeah, I try to keep all my old stuff. The only things that I throw away are like really, 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 really bad. Really bad. I mean, like, you know, to me, these sketches are bad. They're a lot bad, you know, pretty bad. So imagine if I say something's really bad, it's really bad. And really bad. But yeah, I think we had fun tonight. I hope we did. Fun today. Didn't do much sketching. I did most of my sketching on the art casters, but anyway, you ever need me for anything or anything like that, just let me know and I'll do what I can. You know, I can't promise anything. I got some projects lined up after the anthology. Get finished with this turd. It just keeps going. It never ends. Never ends. I do love the book, but I like to do some other stuff. You know, I plan on doing the Super American reboot of a public domain character, which is going to be pretty cool. You know, he's a character that comes from the future, goes back to the past of the 1940s during World War II, and then that's the story. And so the story I wanted to tell is basically he is the Terminator, and somebody's been mucking with the timeline, and basically they've been supplying the Nazis with super weapons from the future, and the Nazis are winning, and so they send the Super American, this Superman like character, super character, to the past to write this. And the changes I made is like I'm thinking about making him like a cyborg. I'm also thinking about well, now thinking about it, he's going to have Silver Eagle, which is like the 7 foot tall silver mechanical eagle that is his sidekick and flies through the air and blows up, tanks and panzers and stuff. And the Silver Eagle can actually come down and form like armor over Super American when he's fighting an enemy that's even too great for him. And there's other stuff I was going to put in there too, but there's going to be, giant Nazi super weapons and Sentinel looking things and robots. And so I was really wanting to do that, and my focus on that is just kind of crap stuff out so I can just keep getting better and better and better. The other thing is, what was I thinking? So wanting to work on Monster Patrol, which is my mixture of X-Men meets Fantastic Four meets H.P. Lovecraft. Basically, this group of people that kind of get thrown together they enter into this this gate, this ancient gate made of rock and stones. It seems it's near the ocean, and there's a reason they're all there. It's like a whole big facility and stuff like that. And once you pass this gate, you're going through this, kind of like Stranger Things, where you're in the upside down. It's something similar to that. Something similar to the negative zone. And basically Cthulhu is there asleep, and they end up getting powers, and they have to stop Cthulhu from awakening. And after that, they end up getting thrown into another world, another world. And so, the people that get powers, there's the team leader. She's a scientist, and she ends up becoming this mechanical being. There is this other, which her makeshift name is Lady Techno. There's this other lady who's like a head of security, who ends up becoming the Blue Flame, and her skull actually illuminates through her skin when she has the blue flame on, and it goes through different degrees of intensity, and eventually she's just covered in flames like Johnny Storm, but in blue. Then there is Night Witch, and she's basically, think of like Vampirella with bat wings, And then there is this one guy. I haven't come up with a name for him, but he can kind of sort of control gravity a little bit. And so he has these chains wrapped around his arms, and he can whip these chains out and make them wrap around you and do all kinds of cool stuff. And then he has a sister, and she is She Beast, and she's actually like this Instagram model type of person. And unfortunately, she turns into this green werewolf, and she has very little control over her powers. And so he uses those chains sometimes to wrap around her and uses her as a large evil dog. And so together they make Monster Patrol, and they end up thrown in this alternate universe. And there's going to be knights, like Knights of the Round Table, those type of knights that basically fight against these robots from the future that are, and then they safeguard this portal to the earthly realm. And they're strong believers in Christ and all this other stuff, and they also fight against these Cthulhu monsters that's in this universe. And there's like a couple of public domain characters that have been stranded here, so I may throw those in for good measure. But yeah, and then eventually they make their way home, where there might be a big showdown with Cthulhu during nighttime in like New York City or something. Let me answer some comments. You are entertaining and natural. Well, thank you. I only wish that when I worked at the radio station, the people there thought that as well. Did not work out in the end for me. Good live stream. Thank you. You burn them or use a flamethrower for the bad ones. Looking forward to working with you, CB, on collaboration. Well, thank you. And the burn them flamethrower thing is in reference to, like, crappy artwork. Monster Patrol. Wow, sounds so cool. I know. I feel like it's really cool. I'm excited about it. It's it's also like Gen 13 because most of them are women, and so that's going to be fun. You have a Robness to your comic book ideas. I love it. Cool. I'll take that because I love Rob Liefeld. I'll take that. True, Nelly sings. There is a comic out right now called The Blue Flame, for your information. Well, the Blue Flame is a public domain character, and so what I did was the girl who has her skull shows through the blue flame. Anyway, she turns into a blue flame and all this other stuff. I just thought we'll just call her Blue Flame. And where it's already a public domain character, like, it won't hurt. And I realized there's other people that's going to do something with that character, the public domain character. But my Blue Flame will be awesome. I guess. I hope. Maybe. I don't know. And I guess where she's part of the Monster Patrol, it won't really distract from what the other Blue Flame people are doing anyway. So I think it may work out fine. I could always change her name later if it's like some big issue. But yeah, Monster Patrol, Super American, and also the Wildcat reboot, is wanting to do that, and get that underway. And it's going to be really cool. I'm very excited about it. The Wildcat reboot is called Wildcat Dead Man Walking. And in 2017, I had released the Wildcat first issue, and I was trying to crowdfund it through Indiegogo. It failed. But from that failure, it was an awesome opportunity to redo it and make it better, and I did, and I'm still working on it, and I'm excited to do that and tell that story of like this small town America where there's these weird things that are happening, this expanding haunted forest with these things that are shouting this weird word. I think it's like Dogi or something, and they're spirit creatures, and they eat all living things, and so you don't really hear sounds in the haunted forest. And there's these crows that are following this girl around in town. There's people that's turning up missing. There's strange goblin creatures that might be taking people. There's like a corruption and drug and crime and stuff going on, like in Walking Tall. And there's this girl, who's lost her mother some years ago, who's had traumatic things happen to her, and she's being raised by her uncle, the sheriff. And he doesn't know how to raise a teenage girl, and they're struggling. There's a dynamic there. It's, they love each other, but I don't think she quite knows that yet, and then in the midst of this and all the crazy stuff that's going on, Wildcat basically rises from the grave after he was killed in the 80s and had his brains blown out. So he can't remember who he is or what he is or any of that stuff. So as the fox, this girl that I was talking about earlier, learns about this stuff, you're learning about it too. Wildcat's learning about it. And we know that Wildcat's called Wildcat because all these people that come back to try to kill him or help him or whatever, they refer to him as Agent Wildcat because he used to belong to a shadowy organization at one point in his life where he was called Agent Wildcat. And in the town that he's living in, after people learn that he's a thing and came out of the grave, and I'll do it in a natural way where it's just like he's not immediately accepted, and But eventually, even the craziest things in our lives, people get used to it, right? People got used to COVID, put masks on, that whole big business, right? Well, people get used to people rising from the grave too, eventually. And so, he earns the nickname of Lazarus. So his name gets changed to Dean Lazarus, because he doesn't know what his real name is. And, he has crows that follow him around not all the time, but they show up, and they seem to be these weird omens of things that's to come. He has a cybernetic eye that came from something else, and the cybernetic eye, when it gets reactivated and it's rebooting, it accidentally triggers and awakens the cybernetic entity named Kronos in space. And Kronos is coming to Earth in 100 days, And so 100 days could be like 100 issues. It could be 1,000 issues, It just depends, Shoot, be lucky to even get 100 issues drawn, let alone 1,000. But Kronos will end up being a big deal, because when he does come to Earth, it's going to be like Doomsday Superman, except for it's Wildcat and Kronos, or Cronus, something like that. So that's going to be cool. He's like a cybernetic dude with flames that come out of his head. And there's just so many crazy stuff that I've not even told you about in the Wildcat reboot. There's these mysterious doors, these stairways in the forest that go to nowhere, or they seem to go to nowhere. And it just all connects together in these crazy ways. And, if you ever seen Lost and you're watching it, and it's like, why is there a dinosaur in the woods? Why are there polar bears? Why is there a secret underground facility? Why is there, and it turns out it's all connected. Well, it's kind of similar. And hopefully when I get done drawing it and writing it, it won't seem so disconjointed, and you will accept it more readily than you would Lost, which Lost was awesome to me. I love that. It's a good show. Good show. You need to watch it if you've not seen it. But the Wildcat Anthology is going to be a primer for this stuff. And I feel like, if you get this book, you're going to get familiar with this character. You're going to get the first appearance of Wildcat. You're going to get the first appearance of the Fox, of Cronus, Dr. Terror, of the Java Knots. A lot of cool stuff. You're also getting introduced to a lot of great indie artists and indie writers. And it's just going to be really cool, I think, it's an 80+ page book, and I'm going to fill it with whimsical ads. And when I say whimsical, I'm like, think of like EC Comics and those horror magazines from back in the day, like Eerie and stuff like that. A lot of ads like that, and maybe like ads that you would see in magazines from way back when. But anyway, I think my time has come and went. And the sun has arrived. Let me answer some of these questions or comments before we hit the road. Wow, the two films I want to do is a horror action sci-fi film titled End Time Story, and an action murder mystery thriller titled Forever Midnight. Ooh, I like that title, Forever Midnight. It's very cool. Where can we see your work at, Nellie Sings? That's a good question. You have beautiful ideas, CB. Thank you. 53% funded. Nice. We're getting there. We're getting there slowly but surely. Clawing every bit of money from people's bank accounts as we can. Peter, my first movie was a drama filmed in California, San Francisco Bay Area, and South Africa, named Zola, the Bicycle Thief, 2015, opened in Cannes Festival, and it won 14 awards. Awesome. I like that. Wow, CB, thank you for sharing. You're welcome. You're welcome. Wow, excellent. Nellie Sings. Okay. Here we are at the end of the show. Didn't plan on doing this one that long. I was going to do something short. But Anyway, like I usually say, I want to remind you all to please be the tide that rises all ships, to be the change that you want to see, to if you got righteousness on your side, many forces will come to your aid. And carpe diem, friends. Until next time, I will see you in the next video. I'm going to do a lot more YouTube videos. I'm going to try to. I don't know if I can accomplish it, but I will try. So until next time, goodbye. Well, hello everyone, this is CB Smallwood, and I just want to say thank you for taking the time to watch this video. And if you want to support this channel, then please head on over to newempirecomics.com. Again, that is newempirecomics.com. And the most important thing that you can do right now, other than hitting like and subscribe to my YouTube channel, is do this. Click on the Join the Mailing List button so that you'll be the first to know when our comics are being crowdfunded, exclusive free goodies, news, and more. You can also click it here, which will take you to the mailing list sign up. Just put in your name, your email, hit subscribe, and you are done. So if you want to be notified when I launch a crowdfunder, or whenever I'm giving away something for free, which I may do on occasion, this is the way to go. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and thank you for your support.